Hi, everybody. Welcome to Third Party, a Microsoft support show. Today, we're joined by Heath Madison, our Senior Director of Consulting Services. And today, we're going to give an overview of essentially what US Cloud offers from a proactive consulting experience. We're going to touch on three specific areas: advisory, project, and our DSE offering. Let's get started. Heath, tell me about those three categories.
When we talk about proactive services at US Cloud, what we are really talking about is those three pillars you just mentioned. And those pillars kind of exist within advisories. This is where many of our customers will simply come to us. They just have a question. They want to talk to someone that's been there and done that. So with the level of expertise we have on the team with decades of experience, we're able to step in and just answer that question. And this could be a architecture review. Hey, we have this architecture we're thinking of deploying in our move to Azure. Can you take a look? And we'll get on the phone with them. We'll take a look and we'll have a conversation about them. They benefit from our expertise and we move on. So that's our first pillar with advisories. Just like they sound, it's for advice. Our second pillar is customers that want a little bit more support. This we call our projects pillar. And with projects, it's anything that we class over 15 hours. We do that because we want to make sure we're open and upfront with our customers, because that's a different kind of investment in their pool of hours. And so we will have a scoping meeting with them. We will discuss what they're looking to achieve, and we'll draft up what we call a service scope agreement. And that service scope agreement will define what we heard, what we're going to be delivering, just like our customers are used to. These projects are everything from health checks. We want you to come take a look at our Active Directory and just let us know if we're following best practices, make recommendations. Some of our customers then go a step farther and say, go ahead and implement those changes. Other kinds of health checks we do, everything from System Center Configuration Manager, conditional access policies, anything you can think of from a technology standpoint, we do a health check around it. Now, we also have some more specialized health checks. We do licensing assessments. We actually had one customer that asked us to audit their E3 licenses in Office 365. And we found out, based on unassigned licenses and unused features, by making some edits to their purchase, we saved them over $1.3 million annually. So the customer is very happy.
This was a 15-hour engagement that you saved someone?
It was more than 15 hours to kind of go through an audit. So 15 hours is a starting point, but it wasn't a $1.3 million engagement. I can tell you that. Azure Cost Optimization is another big savings play for our customers. And when we say big savings play, what we find is, on average, they're saving 30% of their annual Azure spend. And that starts with an 8-week engagement. Whether it's a customer that has a $200,000 annual Azure spend, they save about $60,000. We just wrapped one up for another customer. Because of their Azure spend, their 30% saved them over $1.6 million US annually. So those engagements, for obvious reasons, are very popular right now. We also are a full service systems integrator. We've done everything from migrations to the cloud of Exchange and SharePoint to file services. We've done complete greenfield Active Directory deployments. Anything you'd think of any systems integrator doing, we can do that.
What about the DSE offering?
So the DSE is a type of proactive offering that is much more geared towards the relationship. I have a lot of very talented Azure folks. We have people that actually have writing credits in the book on Azure. When we talk about our DSE offering, we would like at least bi-weekly, if not weekly, cadence calls. Many of our customers even give them access to their environment so they can proactively go take a look and see if they find issues before they even occur.
Okay, so I understand those three pillars. What differentiates or sets US Cloud apart from other folks in the industry?
So what really sets us apart is the way we integrate all aspects of your support experience, from reactive to proactive through the DSE, under one roof. Many times, your reactive case will have a proactive solution to resolve it. And so there's not some weird handoff to some other organization. One of the things that we've heard from some competitors is, well, I have a DSE for Azure, but I have a SharePoint question. How can we get that addressed? And the answer is, well, go hire a SharePoint DSE. We're not going to do that. We have a lot more flexibility for our customers. So what we're saying is, hey, your Azure DSE will go ahead and just bring a SharePoint resource to the next call because you just have a few questions to bounce off them. They can fill that in. So it's really the unity we bring across your entire support experience that is what sets us apart.
Is that unity or simplification of the support model reflected in the pricing structure as well?
When we talk about our pricing structure, you won't be charged for some of those inefficiencies. So there is a savings there. We've all been through that situation where we call a support provider and they hand us off to a different team. And now we're getting billed for all of the transfer costs and having to repeat the entire situation and having the logs looked into by someone else. All those things, we are all working in the same ticketing system. So if you have a concern, you don't have to worry about who do I reach out to address it. You have a technical account manager. That's your point person. Reactive, proactive, DSE, advisory, it doesn't matter. They're your one person to make sure you're taken care of.
Okay, so you gave some pretty specific examples earlier when we were talking about the categories, whether it's advisory or project or DSE offering. What do you see as the key considerations for companies looking to bridge on-premise and cloud? And then how do you approach that from a consulting perspective? I know that comes up with a great level of frequency right now.
So it's a very common ask. And the funny thing is I've been in technology for a long time. And so what I find is everything operates in complete cycles. So it's new today, but it was a conversation we were having 25, 30 years ago as well. And what I find is one of the biggest challenges isn't even in the technical capabilities. What it really takes is not a question of how do we move to the cloud or how do we bridge on-premise in the cloud. It's what are we trying to do and what's the best way to accomplish that on-premise or in the cloud. 20 years ago, virtualization was becoming kind of this big topic of conversation. And what we found is there was this VM sprawl. And before customers knew it, you no longer had to order a device. You just simply pushed a button and you had a new virtual machine built. We're having the same thing in the cloud. It's the same kind of conversation. I push a button, next thing you know, I have a huge spend. We had one customer that when we did their cost optimization, we found out they created a Azure Express rep. And the performance they selected was $125,000 a month. We did a cost optimization. We looked at what their actual usage on that Express route was, and they could have covered it for around $800 a month. So it's all those kind of supporting, monitoring, maintaining, securing. It's all those aspects that are our biggest challenge. It's not the technology itself.
Great. Well, thanks so much for your time today, Heath. And thanks everybody for joining us on Third Party and Microsoft Support Show. If you want more information about our DSE offering, please check us out at uscloud.com.